This podcast is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. You chose to hit play on this podcast today. Smart choice. Make another smart choice with Auto Quote Explorer to compare rates from multiple car insurance companies all at once. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Spring savings are in the air and at Ross, where they have savings on all the brands you love. From the latest fashion to outdoor decor and even pet supplies, savings are in every aisle. Go to Ross and save 20 to 60% off other retailers' prices on your favorite spring finds.
Hey, I'm Candice Lim.
And I'm Kate Lindsay, and you're listening to ICYMI.
In case you missed it.
Slate's podcast about internet culture.
And Kate, I want to talk about Big Brother. Are you watching?
I'm not watching. I know that Big Brother is always watching, but my interests in terms of reality shows are pretty much limited to Love Island. But funnily enough, that is the reason that despite not watching, I do know a little bit about what's going on this season of Celebrity Big Brother UK because former Love Island UK contestant Chris Hughes is on this season.
This also is the first time I'm realizing that Big Brother is essentially Love Island without falling in love with each other, like purposefully. But I was not familiar with this Chris Hughes and his game until now. Can you say more? Who is he?
Yes. So I joined Love Island and the fandom in season 4. So he's slightly before my time, but I'm aware. He was on the 3rd season of Love Island UK. He came 3rd place alongside Olivia Atwood, who is also shot to new heights following the show. He was perhaps best remembered, though, for his bromance-turned-musical duo with a fellow contestant named Kem Ketene.
Okay.
I don't think people feel particularly one way or another about him, but what I can tell you is that no one expected his next friendship duo to be with JoJo Siwa.
Oh, yeah, because JoJo Siwa is also on this season of Celebrity Big Brother UK. This is how I found out that Celebrity Big Brother UK has non-UK contestants on it. Anyway, they started making headlines right away because producers put JoJo in a house with Mickey Rourke.
Yeah, who looks like a human sandbag.
Yeah, and hey, I think we're allowed to say that because he got kicked off Big Brother for some truly heinous behavior, the first instance of which involved him asking JoJo about her sexuality. She told him she was gay and in a relationship with her partner, Kath Ebbs, who is non-binary, to which he replied, quote, "If I stay longer than 4 days, you won't be gay anymore." And he said that he'd tie her up.
Yeah, it's horrible. I watched the clip, and there's really no other way to interpret that other than even a jokey rape threat. It's a rape threat.
Yeah, don't even get the ages involved either. It's just really gross. And then he went on to use the F slur, saying he was just talking about wanting a cigarette, but he was clearly saying it to get a rise out of JoJo. He also said, "I'm going to vote the lesbian out real quick."
Yeah, and JoJo handles this like a champ. She tries to be playful, but understandably by the end of this interaction, because he just won't stop, she's upset. But it's Chris of Love Island who ends up having her back in this. He repeatedly tells Mickey not to say that, and then he comes over and comforts JoJo when she's sort of having this quiet moment after Mickey's walked away. And they just have a really sweet interaction where he emphasizes it wasn't right what he said, and it's wait, this is the duo I never knew I needed.
It's crazy to me that still exists.
Everyone keeps, it's old-fashioned, blah, blah. You can't justify it because it's not right. You can't try and justify things which just aren't right. There's no point us sitting here and going, it's if it's someone's age. It's that's not a thing anymore.
But what I felt when you were over there was you had my back. And to be honest, we've known each other less than 24 hours. You have no reason to have my back.
Because there's right and wrong, though, isn't
there? But it's between right and wrong, and that meant a lot. So
yeah, it's not about having your back. It's there's right and then there's wrong. You're right, though. That's not too bad, but come on. Wait, have a little cry. Crying is my favourite therapy in the world.
Well, come in.
Yeah.
And it took a few more instances of inappropriate comments for Mickey to finally get kicked out, but people are understandably frustrated that he wasn't immediately eliminated after his initial comments to JoJo.
Yeah, like I would not feel safe in that house with that man after that happened. But he stays and he just keeps on exhibiting the same behavior. Notably, it's not until he starts sort of bigging up and seeming to threaten violence to another man, Chris in this instance, that they finally remove him. But now at least JoJo and Chris can sort of further bond over both being on the receiving end of this like bizarre, shitty behavior from, again, a human sandbag.
Yeah, it's truly the most unexpected duo. People are seeing a different side to JoJo and probably Chris on this show. I mean, before this, thanks to her rollout of her new adult era, her singing career, people thought she was a little ridiculous.
I know, and sometimes I forget that JoJo is someone who has been in the public eye for a long time. And she was kind of frozen as this child entertainer thanks to Dance Moms, which is how she got started. But now she's an adult and having a bit of a difficult time growing out of it.
And that's not unrelated to what we're talking about today, which is the child influencing law that was just passed in Utah.
Right. As, you know, more and more children are growing up in this digital spotlight, that industry is starting to get regulated. We'll take a look at exactly what this law is about, but first, let's take a break. When we come back, we'll chat about how these laws are cropping up in response to controversies like Ruby Frankie, but also how, despite this, the government just can't seem to get it right. Oh, ICYMI listeners, do I have a scoop for you? So what is it, you ask? It's that Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Now, before anyone goes suggesting that this is just a rumor, know that there's actual proof that this kettle of tea is not only piping hot, but 100% true. So, yeah, sometimes it pays to be a little nosy, but it always pays to discover. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report, learn more at discover.com/creditcard.
This episode is brought to you by Saks Fifth Avenue. Shopping at Saks is the perfect way to discover the latest styles, elevate your everyday look, and refresh your wardrobe just in time for spring. At Saks, you'll find inspiration for every occasion, from casual outfits to special events. My favorite thing to do in my off time is to go online shopping, and I cannot recommend the Saks.com experience enough. They have so many of my wishlist brands on the website, from Amina Muaddi shoes to Alice and Olivia dresses. And it's spring, which means wedding season is starting up. Saks inspires me to discover looks for anything and everything on my agenda, from destination wedding dresses to shoes that can last the whole weekend. Whether you're refreshing your entire wardrobe or shopping for a vacation, Saks makes it fun and easy. So, if you're looking for a fun, effortless shopping experience and want to elevate your personal style, head to Saks. That's Saks.com for everyday inspiration.
And we're back. So Candice, let me tell you about this law that just passed. It's called HB 322, and it was signed into law by Utah Governor Spencer Cox on March 25th. Weirdly, though, it actually isn't positioned as a family vlogger law at all, even though that's how it's being reported by a lot of outlets. It's more so this series of regulations for children involved in entertainment, similar to the Coogan law that exists for child actors. But this language in Utah is now inclusive of content creators.
Which, if you've been a listener of the show, you know we cover child influencer legislation and specifically the lack of it. So at face value, this is long overdue because, look, they've been unprotected for a very long time. So tell me more about this law.
Yeah, so to put it simply, the law mandates that parents who make more than $150K a year by producing content that features their children will be forced to set aside 15% of those earnings into a trust that then that child can access when they turn 18. Specifically, if a minor is in 30% or more of their parents' content, they're entitled to the money that's set aside. Also, they can request the removal of any of that content once they turn 18.
Yeah. And maybe we should pause here, do a bit of a refresh about why this law has come about. Over the past few years, children of family vloggers and parents who overshared on social media have come forward to talk about how it impacted them negatively. For example, you, Kate, wrote a piece for The Atlantic where you interviewed Cam Barrett, whose mom posted a lot of moments from her childhood online. Some of these moments were really personal, like her taking a bath, medical diagnoses, the fact that she was adopted, the time a drunk driver hit the car she was riding in. And this overexposure of Cam's life without her consent led her to become an advocate for children's internet privacy, leading her to testify in front of the Washington State House in 2023.
First, I just want to thank you, Mr. Chairman and ranking members of the committee, for your time. My name is Cam Barrett, and I'm an international advocate who fights to end the exploitation of children on social media. As a former content kid myself, I know what it's like to grow up with a digital footprint I never asked for. As my mom posted to the world my first ever menstrual cycle, as she posted to the world the intimate details about me being adopted, her platform grew, and I had no say in what was posted.
I do think we are being more careful about posting children online, but then you have moments like Ruby Franke, who was a family vlogger in Utah who was sentenced to prison on child abuse charges.
And Ruby's been back in the news again because her daughter, Sherry Franke, came out with a memoir this year that kind of details, from her perspective, what it was like to live in that house.
Yeah, and there's a parallel there between how far we've come and how far we have left to go, because every time you think you've heard how awful some child influencers had it, it gets worse, and you're like, okay, like what will it take for someone to step in?
Yeah, and to the credit of certain parenting creators, a number of them, as this discussion started happening, independently made the decision to stop showing their children. I would say Bobby Altoff, who now does a podcast, she's like totally moved away from parenting content. But initially, a lot of her content was about being a mom, and she would have her children in it. Mm-hmm. Maya Knight's another one. She kind of made the decision to step back a bit from showing her children. And I actually interviewed another former family creator for Bustle in 2023. His name is Grant Kanbalinov, and he said he removed all pictures and videos of his children in kind of one fell swoop when it really hit him, the impact that maybe this content was having after witnessing these conversations. But when he reached out to the brands that he had had deals with to let them know that his children would no longer be in videos, he says that 99% of the brands dropped those deals. He lost hundreds of thousands of followers from it too, because people were following for his family.
But it sounds like those who are still going, in Utah at least, might have to change how they do business to comply with this law.
Yeah, and other states have been working on laws like this for years. So recently, you might have seen Demi Lovato sign something in with Gavin Newsom. This was an expansion of the Coogan law, essentially, to include child influencers. Minnesota signed a similar one last year. Illinois passed a child influencer law. We mentioned Cam, who testified in Washington State. That is called House Bill 1627. It similarly calls for money to be set aside. It also, allows them to request the deletion of content when they turn 18. No action was ultimately taken, but you can sort of look on the website any movement that's been happening with it. It was reintroduced in January 2024. Nothing since, but it's not gone. It's still out there.
Yeah. So there's been a lot of progress in this area, but Kate, since there's a whole other segment still ahead, I'm sensing a big but.
Oh, yeah. You've sensed a big but correctly. Unfortunately, this latest Utah law in particular has a lot of issues, and it suggests that a lot of these laws are maybe being written and pushed by people who don't actually understand how the creator industry works. We're going to take a closer look at all that, but first, let's take a break. When we come back, we'll break down some of the key issues this latest law overlooks and how we might be going about the child influencer debate all wrong.
Hey there! If you love our podcast, then maybe you should consider subscribing to Slate Plus to immediately unlock bonus episodes. Plus, you'll access ad-free listening across all your favorite Slate podcasts, including bi-weekly bonus episodes of this show. Subscribe now on Apple Podcasts by clicking Try Free at the top of our show page, or visit slate.com/ICYMI Plus to get access wherever you listen. Maybe you like keeping your money where you can see it. Unfortunately, big wireless carriers like keeping your money too. If you're fed up with crazy high bills, bogus fees, and quote-unquote free perks that cost more in the long run, switch to Mint Mobile. I have been on Mint Mobile's unlimited plan, and I really, really like it as a product and service. Mint Mobile is here to rescue you with premium wireless plans starting at $15 a month. All plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. You can use your own phone and bring your number along with your contacts. Ditch overpriced wireless and get 3 months of premium wireless service from Mint Mobile for $15 a month. If you like your money, Mint Mobile is for you. Shop plans at mintmobile.com/ICYMI. That's mintmobile.com/ICYMI. Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month, 5GB plan required, equivalent to $15 per month. New customer offer for first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details.
Lowe's knows how to help pros save. That's why the new MyLowe's Pro Rewards program lets you unlock exclusive member deals on the things you need every day on the job. Plus, MyLowe's Pro Rewards members can get volume discounts on eligible orders through a quote of $2,000 or more. Join for free today. Lowe's, we help, you save. Exclusions, more terms and restrictions apply. Program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
Oh, I see why, my listeners. Do I have a scoop for you? So what is it, you ask? It's that Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Now, before anyone goes suggesting that this is just a rumor, know that there's actual proof that this kettle of tea is not only piping hot, but 100% true. So, yeah, sometimes it pays to be a little nosy, but it always pays to discover. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report, learn more at discover.com/creditcard. And we're back. And before we dive in, I want to give a shout out to Taylor Lorenz, whose newsletter User Mag is the source for a lot of this reporting that we're about to talk through on this Utah law. She essentially presented this law to a bunch of legal experts who revealed how shoddy and ultimately dangerous it is if it gets exploited by bad actors.
Mm-hmm. And it's wild, but not surprising to me how hard it is for anyone to get a good, solid child influencer law passed, because it shouldn't be this hard, but that is on me for trusting the government. So, what is going on here?
So the first problem with the Utah bill is it is way, way too broad. So unlike past bills, which cite family vloggers specifically, nowhere does this law specify that these regulations apply to just parents. Like I mentioned earlier, it's not actually positioned as just a family vlogger sort of law. It defines creators as, quote, an individual who produces social media content. So you or I, Candice, if we're making videos in Utah and earning over $150K, and if anyone under the age of 18 ended up in more than 30% of our video, they could rightfully demand that we give them 15% of our earnings.
Yeah, and I need that money for important things, like, I don't know, buying a flight out of Utah. But
yes.
What about if the person making the content is a minor?
So that's another thing. I mean, one, teenagers are huge users of social media. We see content from them all the time. Under this law, something like, I'm thinking the Hype House would be a nightmare, because not only would they all be minors, but by appearing in each other's content, they would trigger this law. And so they would have to set up a trust for this person, and then that person would have to set up a trust for the other person. And it would be really convoluted. And even though they themselves are minors, that doesn't make them exempt from this law. According to Jess Myers, who is a visiting assistant professor of law at University of Akron, that was another person that Taylor Lorenz spoke to, and this is what she pointed out.
So minors could be in charge of putting away income for other minors.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like there's a John Mulaney quote. It's like a horse babysitting a dog or something. It's just it's not going to work. And everything is just so poorly defined. Even their definition of a quote-unquote performer is not limited to minors. So this is a quote from Tyler T. Ochoa. He's a professor at Santa Clara University School of Law's High-Tech Law Institute. He says, if you read this law literally, any performer who makes more than $20,000 needs to have their parent notified. So Candice, can you imagine if Slate came to you when you get your next paycheck and was like, by the way, you need to speak to your parents about this?
I mean, I had to get my parents' permission to come on this podcast today.
I need to see that permission slip. I need to see it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I really recommend reading Taylor's whole piece because there's a lot more. But the last thing I want to highlight is what I think is the underlying issue here, which is that when it comes to the internet, politicians and legislators keep trying to regulate something they just don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, it's Senator Richard Blumenthal asking this crazy question at a Facebook hearing.
Will you commit to ending Finsta?
Senator, again, let me explain. We don't actually do Finsta. Finsta is slang for a type of account.
Okay, will you end that type of account?
I'm not sure I understand exactly what you're asking.
Well, I don't think that's an answer to my question.
It's been 4 years since that hearing, and you would think they have a responsibility to know these things because watching them flop is just like meme fodder now.
Here's the thing. I would actually love if they committed to ending Finsta because I forgot my Finsta login and I would like it erased. Who will commit to ending Finsta?
Yes.
We need it. But when it comes to sort of these laws, they're kind of making grand gestures that don't actually accomplish anything. Case in point, this Utah law only regulates income directly made from social media. But when you sort of think about that literally, the money people make directly from these platforms is extremely limited. There's the creator fund on TikTok, and then there's AdSense on YouTube, and I think that's about it.
Yeah, because the big way influencers make their money is usually through brand deals. So how is it regulating those?
It isn't.
Okay.
These other much more significant forms of income are not mentioned in this bill. So you could say, oh, if it's so bad, if the bill is really that bad, if it's not really touching on actually anything that matters, how is it really going to change anything? But I think the issue is what Taylor points out. It is more so that by not having anyone in power who understands and takes this industry seriously, we get these half-hearted attempts that then leave doors open for bad actors. Like one example is this gives those turning 18 more power to request the deletion of any footage they appear in more than 30% of posted by any creator. Again, could be you, me, their parent, a stranger. So this is an extrapolation, but let's say a teenager who was 17 went to a far-right white supremacist rally and an independent journalist has footage of that rally that shows that they were there. If they're in more than 30% of that, they could get that taken down and erase that crucial document evidence and kind of get off scot-free.
Mm-hmm. And the other thing that's confusing to me is how Ruby Franke fits into all of this, because that's one of those big stories people cite as to why these laws are so important. Yet I don't really hear anything in what we've spoken about that would apply to that situation.
Yeah, it's interesting to use Ruby Franke as a reason these laws need to exist because she was caught, arrested, all that. She got her comeuppance all thanks to laws that we actually already have. This law wouldn't have changed anything about what went down, really, other than her children being entitled to money, and they should be. But sort of the case of Ruby Franke was primarily a child abuse issue that happened to involve social media, kind of less so than the other way around. And it doesn't really have anything to do with what this law addresses, which is essentially business disputes.
Mm-hmm. It's not that we don't like this law because we don't think child influencer laws should exist, but because children on social media, family, vlogging, all those issues are so important to address, and we keep not getting it right.
And that's the thing. I think more and more states will probably try to pass laws like this. They'll probably not really address the dire state of child influencing because legislation just never keeps up with the times. I mean, at this point, what's kind of your fear, Candice, or take about the next chapter of child influencing legislation?
It's tough because sometimes I feel like I'm putting on a tin hat, but sometimes these tin hat theories come true. I mean, my first one is the fact that whenever children are involved in a legislation, in an issue, it becomes this moral panic thing. But the thing is, like, as you're reading out what exactly is being lined out in these laws, it actually sounds more like a business issue. And it's not even a business issue about now. It's a business issue about, like, down the line when they turn 18, what are they entitled to? And the thing is, when we talk about like the future of these accounts, my mind then also goes to like, hold on a second. Are we about to have like questions of what if a parent who's influencing passes away? Who does their IG go to? Inheriting IGs? Like that is a whole can of worms that I don't think the government is prepared to deal with.
No, yeah, I feel like the thing that we're kind of seeing as like the through line is that there is, because of a lack of understanding, there's like this overcorrection that happens. This Utah law, what it is an overcorrection because it is so broad. Like that is the overcorrecting part. And then I think about, you know, the issue of children and social media in general. Australia just introduced, will allegedly go into effect at the end of this year in December, this ban on social media for under 16s, which is a huge overcorrection. They want to address the mental health issues, but it just means that once they actually do get on social media, they won't have grown up with any of the like digital literacy that is necessary. They're going to immediately click on a spam email and like send money to a prince in a different country. Like we do need this stuff. And so it's not one or the other. And then, like you said, it's like we don't even know what to make the laws for until the issues present themselves. So there's children on social media. There's what happens if someone passes away, who gets the followers. What happens to the pets on these social media accounts is my question, because we have, you know, animal handlers and lots of, you know, rules about that when it comes to Hollywood. Some of these chihuahuas, some of these cats I'm seeing, they don't look like they want to be on camera. They do not look like they're having a good time.
Oh, I know. I mean, I really think within 5 years, that's what we're going to be talking about. Like the first pet Instagram law where like all of a sudden pets are like having rights. And hey, PETA, if you're listening, they totally should. It's just that like we're setting up trust funds for pets. Got it. Got it.
I know what to say. Are you about to tell me that the Central Park squirrel in the background of my vlog, I'm going to need to set up a trust fund for?
Or all the bears. I watch a lot of bear content when they're like running in people's backyards. And now I'm like, damn, she's entitled to 15% now.
Oh my God.
Put the cameras down. And don't even get me started on Ring camera stuff.
Oh.
Imagine if now we're getting entitled to 15% of like Ring camera footage. Because that I actually would have a discussion on, especially considering how many DoorDash people get caught on Ring camera doing something really cute, and then it gets posted in viral. It's like, whoa. Is this DoorDasher getting tipped? Are they even getting tipped?
This is like capitalism final boss. I think a simpler rule, and it applies to many things, might just be don't be an asshole. We need like a don't be an asshole law. Be thoughtful about what you post of your children or your pets. And if you're making money off of them, give your child or your parakeet some of that money.
I mean, if we had a don't be an asshole law, I think like half of America would be in jail.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be in jail for sure. I've been an asshole many times on this podcast alone.
And you know what, Kate? I'd visit you.
Oh my God. Okay, would you vlog it?
100%.
Great. I want 15% of those earnings.
All right, let's talk about this offline.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, that's the show. We'll be back in your feed on Wednesday, so definitely subscribe. That way, you never miss an episode. Leave us a rating and a review in Apple or Spotify, and tell your friends about us. You can follow us on Twitter at ICYMI_pod, and you can always drop us a note at ICYMI@slate.com.
ICYMI is produced by Olivia Briley, Candice Lim, and me, Kate Lindsay. Daisy Rosario is our senior supervising producer, and Hillary Fry is Slate's editor-in-chief. See you online.
Or visiting Kate, fresh out the slammer.
Is your underwear in need of a refresh? Meet Tomboy X, makers of the original boxer briefs for women, queer-founded and queer-run. Tomboy X designs sustainable, gender-inclusive underwear and apparel in sizes 3 extra small to 6 extra large. Use code IHEART at checkout for 20% off your first purchase only at tomboyx.com. Shop now on tomboyx.com.